The librarians have the same wrinkles as your father, creased in the forehead, stripping the wallpaper, carefully judging your book selection behind their thick and decorated glasses.
From pieces of real life to words strung together and finding voice in a whole. That's what happened Saturday at the Boston Public Library in Copley Square in the first showcase for the Boston Youth Poet Laureate program. Among those taking part were the program's first 3 finalists. The goal is to raise awareness of poetry and connect it more closely to the experiences of young people.
I think poetry is about sending a message in a small, condensed way. Because you could tell a story, but that would be a story, and someone would have to read the whole thing to understand the point and know what happens at the end. But if you were to read them a poem, it would be much shorter, and you would get the idea much quicker because there are less words and they're more impactful.
It's a way to put your thoughts together in a way that you can understand and in a way that others can understand as well, where you can convey meaning in a special way to your audience and where you can make meaning out of something that didn't have meaning before for yourself.
And when people read poetry, I think there's a lot more connection than if they're just reading facts in a newspaper in an article. When you read poetry, you're really feeling what's going on in the world, and you kind of realize that you're not alone if you're confused or afraid.
I think there is a small distance that exists between what we say and what we mean, and I think a poet's job is to get as close as possible, is to close that distance as much as possible, and I think by doing that we all get closer to one another.
Everyone who puts pen to paper to express themselves has courage, and this is especially true of all of the young people who are trying to be poet laureate, youth poet laureate today, or who are just doing this work just because they have to get it out and express themselves. And it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of sense of self,